So the shakenings of life.
Yeah, so we're walking this path, and if we're not hearing our intuition and not following our path, that's when that contract, if I want to call it a contract, it's an agreement between you and your higher essence or God or whatever to help you walk that path. And
But what if I don't want to? What if I, in this form right now, say, no, that's not true. I don't want to believe that or buy that or whatever. Can't I choose to chart my own course? Can't I make a new agreement?
Not if you're totally unaware and you're unconscious. If you're fully conscious and you're fully aware and you're self-realized, you can change your contract because you're fully you. And I know that can be, what I'm saying there can be difficult to understand, but you're fully you when you're in the moment and you're connected to the source of being, to God, Christ, that connection with the love, the infinite love, the Creator.
Mm-hmm.
That's self-realization, when you're able to connect in and I'm in this connection and this is me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not in that connection and you can knock around in this life and do all kinds of things that and Spirit will keep trying to herd you over there. And if you don't, when you cross over, you're going to look at your life and you're going to evaluate, well, why did I do this? Why did I not follow my path? Why did I not listen to Spirit?
Because it seems evident at that point, right? Once we've let go of the physical.
Once you let go of the physical, on the other side, you don't have those limitations. You're able to see your entire life again, and you can look at it forwards and backwards.
Is this why when people have near-death experiences, for example,
see their life flash before their eyes? Yeah, they see their entire life, and that's the life review. And a lot of people who have died and come back talk about that. They go in and they have their life review, and some of them go before a council of elders or a council before God or with Jesus or whoever, and that is discussed. What you were doing in your life, what you're not doing in your life, and then they come back if it wasn't their time. They come back, and how do those people come back? When they come back, what happens to them when they come back?
What does?
They're very changed. I would say something that's very interesting and very important for everyone is to research near-death experiences, because when you do that, and I'm not talking about just going in and look at 2 or 3 of them. I've literally gone in and looked at hundreds and hundreds and there's people having these all the time now. At YouTube's got lots of them on there, and so people have these near-death experiences, and they give you a glimpse of the other side according to their level of consciousness. I have to put that caveat in it, because that's why you hear very similar stories in near-death experiences, but there are differences, because the person's consciousness, you're a creator here and you're a creator there. So you're going to interact with yourself with your level of consciousness.
And by yourself, you're speaking from that God vantage point, which is that we are all one ultimately, and we're just individual, fingers or representations of all that is. I used to have a phobia of spiders. I picked up that spider just because, right, that was a point of resistance and blockage.
Yeah.
And so now, decided to show up right here.
Yeah, he's
and we got a little buddy.
He's moving on. He can come over here and visit me if he wants to.
But can you speak to this? Because the concept of religion, right, and spirituality can sometimes become conversationally opposed.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if somebody has a deeply rooted belief system, and then, for example, a near-death experience, what is the likelihood that what they hold internally is what they're going to experience in that kind of transcendent state?
For most of them that I've looked into, they're very transformed after the experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they come back and they atheist. You know, they'll go up and then they come back with a deep spiritual connection after that.
Right.
And they're completely changed by the experience. All these people that you read in these near-death experiences, they come back completely changed and with gifts.
Mm.
And in a lot of cases, that event occurs so that will happen.
Right.
So they will come back, and so they will tell everyone, this is what I encountered. But you have layers of consciousness throughout all of this. All of this is just, we're calling this is a label. We're calling this energy that we're in here, this experience that we're in. This is all a layer of consciousness.
Right.
When you transition, you gravitate to another layer of consciousness that is within you, that's at a higher frequency.
The kingdom of heaven lies within.
Lies within us. That's why they say it lies within you, because it is a part of you, a part of who you are, and you resonate back to that. After this, after you shed the body, you resonate back to your natural frequency.
Mm-hmm.
This is not our natural frequency. We're actually energy beings having a human experience.
Amen.
So,
why do we have to consume energy then?
this has to consume energy. The vehicle you're in is using energy to exist within
Right.
this material system. Your energy being, the energy that you are doesn't require any of that. It's totally a material function.
That feels so accurate.
Yeah.
Like, it's my physical vessel that gets tired, not my spirit. It might be my mind as a physical device, a contraption that's, you know, pulling together all these different neural nets and
Right.
firing and wiring that gets tired and needs its rest. But then during rest, this is a concept I've been playing with, is the time that, like, I don't remember a lot of my dreams at this point, but I've met many people who do. They have vibrant dreams. And so when I actually remember something, it's like, oh, wow, yeah, I did have this experience and it was profound, or, you know, it was just a lot of fun, or it was this wild adventure. So what I wonder about is, you know, are we really awake when we're asleep? And then we're asleep when we're awake. And so this goal, this purity process that you're describing is really about just being more awake when we're awake.
Yes. It's about being that in the awake state. It's about you being a fully realized soul within a vehicle. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm this energy and I'm just driving the vehicle.
Right.
And it makes a big difference. You see,
It allows compassion, doesn't it?
it's compassionate, yeah, and it's loving.
Yeah. I can forgive myself when I have physical failures or when I make decisions that didn't have a nice, synergistic feel, because I know that's not actually me. That was maybe just the way that this body, this mind, this programming reacted as opposed to responded.
So,
right?
if if I'm in a human being's body. This is a material world. This is a product of this planet. This body is a product of this. When you die, it goes back to this
Right.
planet. But you are an energy that comes into the body, and you are working in symbiosis with the body. You're the infinite soul, the creator, the creative source energy that comes into this body.
Mm.
And the body, if you don't know you're the infinite soul that's in the body, then the body does what the body wants to do. Because the body is actually intelligent. It's not stupid. I mean, it has an intelligence to it. It is consciousness in form, and it has its intelligence.
Like our cells.
Our cells.
They're all
It has-
collaborating
it's
together
all
with
collaborating.
the bacteria.
It's the most amazing system. We're one of the greatest miracles of the universe. And there's others also, but we're a miracle of Source creating a vehicle for Source to experience Source. It's really an amazing. If you think of it that way, it's really an amazing process.
Is that a uniquely human experience though? Like how even on this planet with different animals, different levels of, like that spider, like to what degree, like how do you define or differentiate between Source being able to experience Source, right? God being able to experience physical form, however we want to term it.
Each animal has a unique way of, it's actually conscious. It actually has Source consciousness in it. I mean, everything does. They all have a unique way of communicating, of energetically understanding things energetically. They use a universal language, which actually we have within us that we don't use like we used to back thousands of years ago.
What is this universal language?
The universal language is more of seeing, feeling, and knowing, seeing images, and getting all the information that you need from images, and sending blocks of information through telepathics, where you can, animals are telepathically communicating with each other a lot, more so than we are.
I would think about birds that can move,
They're the same way.
swallows,
They're
for example, that
they're
thousands.
telepathically linked together.
And there's no collisions.
Right.
They become one unified mind.
Yeah.
Or consciousness.
So if you talk to an animal, it's according to your gift. I mean, people are gifted with things. So I'm auditory. My mind, my cosmic mind, converts the information that's coming in and puts it in the language where I can understand what's being said by the whatever it is I'm communicating with, human or whatever else. And I know this is very esoteric, but that's the way the universe actually works. And that's the way most entities in the universe communicate, is your higher source connection is actually interpreting everything for you and giving it to you in a way that you can understand it.
That's why the term download actually makes sense.
That's what the download is, yeah. That's exactly what that is.
It seems so counterintuitive to the way that, I was taught that the world operates, that this existence operates, but yet in a felt sense, in a knowingness, it's so real.
Yeah. Yeah, when you start feeling it and sensing it, and like once again, this purity thing, the purer I am, the more I'm able to sense and feel and garner this information from around me and from everyone else, because there's nothing there that's blocking my ability to do that.
What about people have vices, right? People have attachments. People have,
Addictions.
Right,
Yeah.
right, different degrees of patterns that keep taking place. So purity, is that to be patternless? Is that what ultimate purity is? Pure consciousness is patternless.
It's not that it's patternless. It's being in sync with the rhythms of existence, the nature of, like for me, the sun, the moon, the nature, the earth is living in flow with these energies
right.
as they're flowing. So those things do have an effect on what I'm sensing and I'm feeling. And I try to live in, flow. I like to, like I'm flowing, letting water flow around me.
Hence
Yeah.
the stream.
Yeah. So I'm letting that flow around me, and I'm not fighting life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm letting the flow of the universe flow around me and come to me. And as I do that, as I sense and feel these things, I'm interacting with the universe in a knowing state. Most people are walking around not in a knowing state. They're focusing, and we all do have to focus on our life to an extent, but with an addiction, let's say, it's something that we've gone way past where we need to be with it. We just keep doing it over and over and over.
Some sort of autopilot loop.
It wires and fires in to the circuitry and to your mind, your nervous system. An addiction wires and fires in as you do it over and over and over. So you have to, that can make it challenging to break, but you can.
Mm-hmm.
You can stop that cycle and move out of it. You have to stand up against it. Like I said, I'm not this. I'm this.
You've said a lot here. There's a couple things that I'd like to unpack a little with you, if you don't mind. There's a deep faith. There's a deep trust that comes into letting go of needing to micromanage the things that are happening around, but to actually feel the flow.
Yep.
Like quite literally, just get on an inner tube and float down a river. If you've not ever done it, please just go find yourself a river or a park and just float and close your eyes and envision that this is actually reality, that the movement of the water is time, and yet source energy is the water that is constantly flowing, and I get to be here. I get to float down a river, and there's rocks, there's things that can cut your inner tube and put you in the water. There's waterfalls and you might tip over and get flipped. There's other people, there's other animals, there's other life forms. There's so much, but to allow that process of letting go. I didn't understand this for years. I'm still comprehending what that really means to let go. And it's not letting go of life. It's actually the opposite. Like, I feel more in command of my life by letting go of attachment to these smaller things.
Yeah.
Right? Do I need somebody to look me in the eyes a certain way to know that they're sincere or that they care? Do I need somebody to give me something like, no, am I going to be the light that shows up? Or am I going to look around and blame and find some other reason? Because those are limitless, but so are the internal reasons.
Once again, like I said, this purity You know, this cleaning of self up, getting rid of those addictions, standing up to them, and letting them go is a process.
Right.
You know, we have to work on that, and you can do it though. Through this process, what happens is you start gaining more and more faith, because I let this one thing go. Well, if I can let this one thing go, I can let this other thing go. If I can let this other thing go, it builds on itself. If I can heal this, I can heal anything. So that builds the faith in using these energies. You learn that this works. And then by doing that over and over, you have faith. You know this is going to work, and it's easy to let go.
Well, in synchronicity, when you defined it earlier, it makes so much sense that synchronicity is allowing all the things to unfold,
Yes.
but then having the receptivity to see that everything is actually happening in alignment, which is that basis of reinforcement to faith.
Right. That's
Right?
exactly the way that works. The universe gives you these synchronicities and gives you confirmations that you are on your life path and
Right.
that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Conversely, when you're not in sync with what you're supposed to be doing and you're not listening, we go back to the shaking and the illness. You know.
Have you guys experienced any of these things? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so anyway, this purity, you know, we have the purity event coming up
Yes.
in May, and that whole event is going to be working and focused in taking a lot of these modalities that I've learned over the years and doing a deep dive and learning them in a simple way. It's like I said, what I do is simple. Everything that I do is not rocket science. I mean, it's really simple, direct ways to increase your frequency, to get rid of these addictions and these things that are standing in your way. It's actually simple. Everybody's
Well, the
simple,
conversations
but
and the layers, there's infinite complexity.
Right.
But the actual process, like you were describing earlier, just to breathe into my heart.
Yeah, the process is direct. And
Yes.
what I've learned to do is be simple and be direct with the energy and what I'm doing. And I understand the mechanism of how to connect into the source energy and deliver that to whatever I'm needing to target, if you want to call it that, using that language,
Yes.
to target it in a very simple and specific way that goes in and does the work for you. This is not about us. It's not about finding something external to me that's going to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
It's about me going in and asking Source to deliver this in a way that's perfect for me and going, thank you. I'm so glad that this is done. And walking away. And when you do that, you're allowing the universe to do it with the infinite knowledge and the infinite power and the
Yes.
infinite all that it is to take care of you. And as you do this, do small things first. As you do this, you go, wow, this works. It's powerful.
What's an example? Can you give us something to begin with?
Would be like a knee. I've had like a knee problem before. Lifting weights. Done a lot of weightlifting in my life. You may not can tell it now, but I have been big at times. But
215.
yeah, but I was doing squats, and I went with way too much weight,
Right.
and pop. My knee popped, and I'm like, But see, I've already been healing myself a long time when this happens. So I'm like, okay. You know, all my friends are going, oh man, you're gonna have to go to the doctor. You're gonna have to have knee surgery. And I'm like, no. So I started using this process where I go in and I ask the source to take this and move this back to its infinite, original divine perfection.
Mm.
And I start hitting it with energy. And about a month later, done. I hobbled around for a while, but it's totally normal again.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the power of me knowing. See, me knowing because I've done it before.
What did you actually do with your knee, though? Can you just give a little example?
I popped the what is that piece of tendon that's
Not
underneath?
the injury. What did you do on the healing side? What did you do for the energy support and that,
The energy
belief,
support,
that faith system?
Well, I do a practice, and you've experienced it before, where I send energy and focus. I focus concentrated energy, and every day I would focus concentrated healing energy into this with that intent that this is going back to my original perfection. And now when I focus energy, I mean it's my will. It's all my will. I mean, I'm like
All your martial arts experience
it's all
probably
of my,
helps
it's all of my will
tremendously.
that I'm focusing on that target,
Right.
and I'm sending that in there with the intention that that it's back in its original divine perfection. So I'm telling my body, and I'm sending all this healing energy in there, and I'm telling it, you need to go back to your original divine perfection. So what does it do? It goes back to its original divine perfection.
So is this like a minute, 5 minutes? Is this an hour a day? Like, how are you?
It's probably more like an hour.
Oh, wow.
An hour a day at times. Not all the time, but when I have these things, I focus a considerable amount of effort on it.
Right.
I've had some things that I've spent hours and hours in meditation working on them.
Wow.
But herein
That's
lies,
an internal rigor.
yeah, and herein lies the focus and the determination that everyone has. And what I do is I ask for willpower. I ask my God, higher self, whatever. I ask for the inspiration, and I ask for the wisdom, the will, and the power.
The inspiration. So we're going to have the in-spirit, the in-spirit.
That's right.
And then
The will,
the will, so
power.
the desire, that fire within to follow through, and then
the power,
the power, so the actual energy to flow,
and the wisdom.
And that can involve patience.
Yes.
Right? That you're going to
All the
keep
other things
doing
you
it.
need.
All these three things have to be in a perpetual state for a while, and if the belief system
Right.
breaks down and the process, the power application of it breaks down,
Yeah.
result doesn't happen in the divine perfection that could be. It'll still have whatever result it is. Maybe it's a chronic, lingering pain.
And the other things I've noticed out of this is whenever I have these things, there's something else I kind of learn along with it. There's something else that Spirit's trying to go, well, here's this other thing. And what happens is through these things that I've learned all these different things,
Right.
that I can give back through my experiences, through my life journeys.
Yep.